Hello YouTube. If this is the first time you've clicked on one of my videos, welcome to my world. I'm Marcus Hayes and I love Mark 1 and Mark 2 Ford Escorts. If you're a more regular viewer of my stuff, I just want to send a massive thanks out to each and every one of you for taking the time out to watch my videos. And a special thanks to those who have liked, shared, subscribed to the channel or left me some feedback in the comments. I've also had people get in touch with me via social media, and I even had a guy come up to me at the Classic Ford show and introduce himself and tell me that he thought my videos were good, which was really cool. If you do have any negative feedback for me though, I'm eager to improve my videos in any way that I can. I'm very new to YouTube and each video does take me many hours to make, but I'm really enjoying it and I'm going to keep putting out videos as regular as I can. Now, all of my videos up to now have been about my Mark 2 Escort, but every now and again I do bang on about a Mark 1 Escort that I also own. And if you watched right to the end of my first video, you would have seen a little clip of the front end of it. Well, today I thought it was about time that I pulled the Mark 1 out and let you all have a look at it. So this is my 1974 Ford Escort Mark 1. I'm not going to go into too much detail today about the spec. I'll do a full spec list video once she's back on the road. But, as you can see, she's also running a 2 litre Z-Tech like the Mark 2, but this time I've used a 2 litre Z-Tech from an St170 Mk1 Focus. So it should produce a bit more power than the other one. Also, this one will be running on Gen V throttle bodies, so it'll be injection rather than carb. Nice Piper stainless manifold that I polished up myself. Now, those of you who know about these engines will notice that I've got an adjustable vernier on the exhaust cam, but not on the inlet cam. And that's because I've decided to retain the VVT. So on this car I'm using an ME221 ECU from Motorsport Electronics. It's actually the cheapest ECU on the market that will run the VVT correctly. A lot of people will run the VVT using their shift light output, so it's either fully on or fully off, but that's not the correct way to run the VVT on an ST170. I've heard good things about them, so yeah, hopefully it will run it okay and make good power. The whole car's been resprayed in Olympic blue. It was white when I got it. I've done the inside and the underneath as well. Now, I don't like to set deadlines, especially with this car, but I am going to do my best to have it ready for September when there's a show at Santa Pod called Ford Fest, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, the bonnet and the front wings are fiberglass. Got carbon front and rear bumpers. Trying to make this car as light as I can. I would like to get plastic windows at some point. Boot lid's still a metal one at the moment, that's why I didn't bother having the inside of it painted Olympic blue, because I am planning to change that for a fiberglass or a carbon one eventually. Yeah, looking a bit messy in the boot at the moment, but as you can see it was also painted in here. Now you'll notice the fuel tank's missing. I actually sold the original fuel tank and decided to buy a fancy alloy one from Group 4 Fabrications. I'll leave a link to their website in the description. Yeah, as this car's going injection, I'd need to either buy a swirl pot or buy a fuel tank with an integral swirl pot, and that's what I did. So this is a new fuel tank I bought for the Mark 1. Like I say, it's from a company called Group 4 Fabrications in Ireland. They do loads of stuff for rally cars and race cars. Mainly Escort stuff, but they do other stuff as well. There's like the filler there, so I'll have to open the boot to fill up the fuel with this tank. And as it's got a VDO fuel sender, I've got this gauge to mount somewhere inside the car. Now this has actually got an alloy tank stand. A lot of the rally cars buy steel tank stands and have them welded in, but because my car was already painted, I went for this alloy one, which I'll bolt in. Should be okay. It's not a rally car anyway, so I'm sure it'll be solid enough. So once I get this tank fitted, the next job will be to buy all the fittings and the hose and start making up and fitting the fuel lines, and then I'll really be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel with this project. Can't wait to get it back on the road. I haven't driven it for a good few years now. It was on the road for a little while it was in primer. Back then it was running the 2.1 Pinto. I've just laid the base in there, just trying to see whereabouts it should sit. Put masking tape here just to protect the paint a bit. I can already tell that it's going to need a bit shaved off here and there to make it sit a bit more flush. Because as you can see, these tabs here, although I could bend them down, I think I'd prefer to close up the gap here and get that sitting a bit flush. So I think if I was to shave it around here and maybe here, get that sitting down a bit more, then these will meet the floor better. I think that's roughly where it needs to sit. Unless it needs to go back a bit. Not really sure. I'll figure it out. Just going to take a bit of time. Obviously the boot floor is different here than here, which is why this side seemed like it'd be able to bolt down a bit better than the other side. So I think the stand needs to go back a bit, but for me to get it to sit nice and flush further back, I'm going to have to shave the sides of the stand. I know you can't see because I've got tape on it, but there's like a lump here and a lump here, so I'm going to have to shape this part here a bit better, both sides, which will then enable me to have the tank stand slightly further back in the boot, and also get those front tabs to sit flusher with the boot floor here. So the reason these fuel tanks are shaped with a curve here is because the rally cars mount their spare wheel in the middle of the boot floor like this. Originally on the road cars it would have been standing up in here with a strap holding it down. Now I thought I'd just chuck a spare wheel in there just to sort of give me an idea whether the tank stand can sit how I've got it now, or whether it does need to go further back. Now it does fit, but some of the rally cars run 15-inch wheels, so possibly they would have the tank stand a bit further back so that they can get a 15-inch wheel in here. So before I start sort of altering things and grinding bits away from the stand and ultimately drilling the holes to mount the stand, I think I'm going to have a good look at some other pictures online before I make my final decision of where I'm going to mount this tank. I'm just going to put the tank on the stand and put it in there and just check that it can actually go back. So I've got the tank sitting in there now. Looks very good, I have to say. Just wish it'd fit a bit easier. Yeah, story of my life. You buy parts and they never fit properly. You always have to mess around with them. But yeah, just thought I'd put the filler and the hose on just so you can see roughly how it's going to sit. Basically, it attaches to this lip, which is underneath this rubber here. Yeah, I've always loved these fuel tanks. I never thought I'd actually end up getting one, but when I decided to go injection, I thought, yeah, why not? Right, so I'm going to end this video here, but I really hope you've enjoyed having this first little look at my Mk1 Escort. I'm planning to do a lot more jobs on this car over the next couple of months, so I'll definitely keep you updated with the progress. I'm going to end this video with a load of old pictures of this car at different stages throughout the build, so you can see what work has actually gone into it over the years. As always, if you thought this video was any good, give it a thumbs up. If you thought it was shit, give it a thumbs down. Click subscribe to be kept up to date with any more videos that I post in the future. Thanks for watching.